This will be a video for 7th grade, page 72. We're going to be adding rational numbers on this one. A rational number, as we talked about in the last video, is a number that can be written as a fraction. So we usually see these as fractions and decimals. So in all of these, we're looking at the first one's decimals, fractions, decimals, and then we have some more decimals here. So we got to practice adding decimals and fractions here. For number 1 through 6, they gave us a number line. So let's talk about this. Let's look at this first number line. It's broken into holes. So you go up 1, up 1, up 1, up 1, up 1. But if we compare it to this number 3's number line, that's broken into fractions. But let's start on number 1. Our first dot needs to be at our first integer here, our first rational number. -3 is a rational number. So we're going to start at -3, and now we're going to add, but we're adding a negative. We're going to add -1.5. Now when we add -1.5, it's the same thing as -1.5. So I'm going to go down 1. That was -1. And now I'm going to go down 0.5. So we're going to go to here. That's -0.5. So I subtracted 1 first, and now I went down 0.5. And what is our sum? Where did we just end? Right here. This is at between -4 and -5 is -4.5. -4.5. Okay. Halfway between -4 and -5 is -4.5. Number 2, I'm starting at 1.5. So I'm starting in between 1 and 2. Careful, it's not right here. This is 0.5. Okay, 0.5 would be right here. Okay, 1.5 is right here. This is where we're starting. It's right in the middle of 1 and 2. And I'm going to the right by 3.5. Okay, so I can go to the right by 3 first. Here's to the right. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to the right because I'm adding. I didn't really mention that. Going to the right. And then we need to go another 0.5. So this is another half, which will take us to 5. For the next one, notice that they broke up the distance between 0 to 1 into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So this was 1/4. This is 2/4. This is 3/4. And there's 1 would be 4/4. Okay, so 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. We're starting at 1/4, starting right here. And we're going to go up a half. A half is equal to, let's see, 1/4 equals how many, not 1/4, that's not what I meant to write. 1/2 is how many 1/4s? Let's see, that's times 2 on the denominator. We'll do times 2 on the numerator of 2/4. So starting here, we're going to the right because we're adding. 1 2/4 takes us to 3/4. Okay. The next one, we're starting at -1.5, which will be between -1 and -2. And we're going to add, which usually means to the right, but we're adding a negative, so we're going left by 1.5. So that'll be -3. Number 5, we're starting at 3. And we're adding, which usually means to the right, but it's negative, so it's the opposite of adding to the right. We're going to add to the left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2. Number 6, we're starting at -1.5. And we're moving to the right because we're adding by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Be really careful because we're in the middle of these little marks. We're not on those marks. That leaves us at 2.5 in between 2 and 3. 7, Victor borrowed $21.50 from his mother to go to the theater. A week later, he paid her $21.50 back. How much does he still owe her? So on this, we could think of a number line if we want. This guy started here at negative 2150, and he's going to the right by 2150. Puts him at zero, doesn't he? He still owes $0. If he owed her that much and he paid it back, so he owes her $0. He paid her back. It's kind of a silly question, number 7. Number 8. Sandra used her debit card to buy lunch on buy lunch for $8.74 on Monday. So she had negative $8.74 at the start. On Tuesday, she deposited $8.74 back into her account. What is the overall increase or decrease? So if she started by paying money and then she got money, well, negative $8.74 plus $8.74, well, that equals $0 again. The overall increase or decrease is a $0 increase / decrease. It didn't go up or down at the end. She paid it off. Now that is only half of the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the second half of this page. And then I'll have to move some stuff or get rid of some other stuff. Let's see what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and put this right here. And then I'll get rid of this. Oh, I'm going to have to paint it. Fine. Paint that white. Great. Cool. Number 9, we need to find each sum without using a number line. I don't really get that myself. I don't know why they would tell us to not use a number line, but let's try it out. Let's see what we can do. We've got a couple different steps here. Let's just do this first step by itself. We've got 2.75 minus 2. Oh, I wrote minus 2, but I'm just talking through it myself without explaining it. Plus negative 2. All right, so this is $2.75 minus $2. Okay, so in other words, we write it out like this, 2.75 minus 2. And why did I write it there instead of way over here? Well, that's because there's a decimal point here, and I have to line up those decimals. In addition and subtraction, you have to line up decimals. Got to do it. Have to. 5 minus 0 is 5. 7 minus 0 is 7. Decimal point comes straight down. 2 minus 0 is nothing. So this first part is 75 cents. So now I need to do 0.75, 75 cents, plus negative 5.25. All right. So now looking at this one, it says don't use a number line, but I really don't like that strategy. But let's do it. I have more red counters here than I would have yellow counters. So let's flip this around. I've got negative $5.25. So I'm using the commutative property, and I'm going to add 0.75 to that. Okay, so 5.25 is negative. Say that you owed $5 in a quarter. Well, you paid, this is 3 quarters. You pay 1 quarter, now you only owe $5. You pay 2 quarters, now you only owe $4.75. And you pay 3 quarters, which will be $4.50, and it's negative. But we have a positive and we have a negative here. So let's see, how can we get $4.50 by using these two numbers? Well, let's do 5.25 minus 0.75. 5 minus 5 is 0. 12 and 4, regrouping. That's 5 and 4 is here. 4 minus nothing. So that'd be $4.50. But since this absolute value, this $5.25, is much larger than 0.75, our final sum is going to be negative. So that's what we're going to get on that one. Negative 450. Now let me show you why I would prefer a number line on this problem. If we're going to start at negative 5.25, I need to go to the right by 0.75. So I go over 0.25 3 times, 0.25, 0.25. And that's what I would do. I'd go to the right by 0.25 because this would put me at negative 5, negative 4.75, and negative 4.5. And I really truly believe this number line is a lot easier than doing this and processing this method. So there we are with that. The next one, number 10, we have negative 3 plus 1.5 plus 2.5. Well, negative 3, I'm going to put these together since they're both positive. I think that'll be easier. So this is 1, 2, 3 wholes, and then a half and a half. 1/2 plus 1/2. Well, that equals 2 halves, which equals another whole. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes here. Negative 3 plus 4. It says don't use a number line, but I just don't really believe in that. Starting at negative 3, you're going to go over to 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. All right. A couple more. Let's see. That's silly. Cool. All right. We'll leave that there, I guess. Number 11, I'm going to add these positives together first. 9.2 plus 1. Make sure it's 1.0 so you line up that decimal. Okay. That'll be 2, 10.2. So we need to do 12.4, which is negative, plus 10.2. All right. So negative 12.4 plus 10.2. Well, what we'll need to do, since they're different signs, we're going to have to do 12.4, and we're going to have to subtract 10.2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring our decimal down. And then recognize that this 12 is larger than 10. So this, since this was negative, this will still have to also be negative. Negative 2.2. Now, if I do this with a number line, I would start here at negative 12.4. I would go to the right by 10 to negative 2.4. And then I'd go to the right by 0.2, which would put me at negative 2.2. Right there. Really can't believe that they say without using a number line in this section. It's just gross. Number 12, we've got negative 12 plus 8 plus 13. Well, let's add our positives together first. So I'll have negative 12 plus 21. In other words, this commutative property, I can swap these to 21 minus 12 equals 9. For this one, I can see a 4.5 and I see a negative 4.5. If I combine those, what do we get? Nothing, right? Our answer here is negative 12. I like that one. Number 14. I don't care what they say, I'm using a number line on this one. Start here at 1/4. We need to go left by 3/4. So here's down by 1/4. Well, that'll put us at 0. Down by 1/4. That puts us at negative 1/4. And down by 1/4 puts us at negative 2/4, which simplifies to negative 1/2. The next one, starting at negative 4.5, and we're going to the right by 2. So here's the right 1, puts us at negative 3.5. To the right 1 puts us at negative 2.5. And number 16, we're starting at negative 8. I'm going to put it way over here. because we're going to add, but we're adding a negative. So if we're going to the left by 1, puts us at negative 9. And then we'll have to go down 1/8 again, puts us at negative 9 and 1/8. For number 17, how can you use a number line to find the sum of negative 4 and 6? Well, we would start at negative 4, move to the right by 6. I guess we can say where we end is the sum. So clearly it says without using a number line. I don't really care for that direction. I don't like that at all. I think we should use number lines, especially if they're good, helpful tools. And I think number lines are a lot easier than finding common denominators and subtracting and adding and all kinds of whatever things we might need to do. So with this section, I'm going to teach it with number lines in person. Hopefully my number lines were a little bit helpful here. If not, then there's other ways we could have done these, but I think those are just, with those methods, you're just memorizing rules instead of using number lines to help you. So